back, everybody, into the CSGO Championship Series. I'm Toby1, joined by Saticus tonight. And, of course, we do have our special guest for the series as well, Khan, all here in the studio, the PGL one, to bring you our first game of the night.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good first game of the night. We get to see NiP go ahead against, VP, as I slurred. We're going to get that out of the way early, slurring the words early. But yeah, I mean, two legendary teams, a lot of history between them. Obviously, a lot of consistent finishes for each of these guys. And I don't know the maps we're going to see yet, but we'll find out in a minute.
I think I can tell you. I'm supposed to be the analyst, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think Virtus.pro is just going to get rid of Dust 2 as soon as they possibly can. I think we're going to end up on Nuke, and I don't think NiP will be so keen to try out their luck on either Cobblestone or Overpass. But furthermore, speaking about the matchup itself and its dynamic, it's been fairly even, at least the past 3 or 4 months, but that was kind of prior Alus entrance in NiP. And I would be worried if I was a Virtus.pro fan right now, because I think a reason why Virtus.pro has been viable versus NiP is because they have been a stronger sniping team. I think Pasha was superior to Fiflarn and Forest, kind of AWP duo combined with Neo. Perhaps fairly equal to Michael Lille. But now when they have Alu versus Pasha, I would be expecting NiP to have an easier time to overcome the Pulse.
Are we actually expecting the Pulse? Because obviously we're watching VP last night. The end result of everything that happened allowed VP to advance themselves through into this winners bracket final, which is what they're playing right now up against NiP. But are we expecting them to have some kind of form? Like, I know we were talking about the effect of ESL 1 and the fact that it was just very, very tiring on the teams. Do you think today it's going to be a little bit easier for Virtus.pro? Will they have time to actually collect their thoughts and come to play CS today?
I think neither of these two teams looked amazing yesterday. More so VP than NiP though. NiP, they played a very hungry Penta, who I think took it to 2 very close maps. Nuke and Dust 2. But NiP, again, they just showed the kind of depth, again, as I said yesterday, in their skill set and experience and all that. They can kind of, even on a bad day, they can kind of face these teams out. Surely, Virtus.pro is a stronger team. They have more gunpowder. They have more wide strategies. They can play Cobble. They can play Overpass. It's not going to happen today, though, at least versus NiP. But generally speaking, I think NiP is more consistent on a bad day. Let's put it that way. And this is not surely it's a lot involved into these games, because it's a qualification spot or 2 spots on stake going into the DreamHack Bucharest final PGL. But at the same time, online games traditionally has been not the best arena for Virtus.pro, which I think NiP is fairly good in.
That said, though, Virtus.pro yesterday looked sound asleep. Due to some circumstances, they get themselves through to this game. Is that a bit of a wake-up call? Now do they say, hey, guys, come on, we got to get things together. Hopefully, we'll see
as
Neo
Pasha
in
said,
full
like,
tonight.
it's going to be the greatest comeback ever, isn't it?
That's right. Pasha said it straight up. No, but my point is, I mean, seriously, they saw yesterday firsthand that they were flat after the major. Now they get a chance to sort of readdress that, and like I say, hopefully Neo will have all issues sorted and they'll get their full lineup in, as opposed to
Sure.
Cuban.
It's definitely doable, but that kind of depends on what kind of start the VP teams are getting. So yeah, exciting matchup ahead of us. Nuke is very expected from NiP's end. Mirage is a map that VP should be fairly comfortable on, but let's see.
Yeah. For me, I just want to see, actually, as you were saying, like, what's the start that Virtus.pro is going to get? Do they come out all guns blazing? Do they find that confidence and then play nice and hard up against NiP? Is the map, like you're saying, you were expecting us to go over towards something like Nuke? Can they get the CT side first and actually hold on the CT side, get that big advantage? Just to build confidence more than anything else. Because after you were 7-0 down on Mirage yesterday, you're going to be shaken up a little bit.
Yeah, totally. But let's remind ourselves they got Kuban, and no offense again to him, but he was thrown into the mix. Maybe not the easiest opponent to play against in your kind of first official CSGO game. I know he played a bit in the early stage, but a lot has changed since. So I wouldn't, make too many big conclusions based on that Mirage game. Mirage is one of the best maps for Virtus.pro, and I think they can, if it starts on that, combined with a successful pistol round and kind of steering away the the C-sets and all that from NiP, then I think they can be,
And that was an issue last night. They actually won 2 pistols where they got ecoed in the end, and definitely turned things around for them.
We have our map list, so you're on the money. No Dust 2 again for Ninjas in Pajamas. NiP taking out Overpass to start with. Means our first map of the night will be Mirage, selected by Virtus.pro. Second map being Inferno, and then the last 2 bands, NiP and Cobblestone, leaving Cash as our deciding map if required.
Yeah, and you actually mentioned, Carden, that you might have expected NiP. I thought we might too, because these 2 teams have actually played, in my knowledge, 3 times fairly recently on it, and they've split, in fact, a dead split, 1-1 and 1. One game went to overtime, but instead we actually are going to see Inferno come into it.
Yeah, perhaps this is kind of a immediate outcome of yesterday's struggle versus Penta. They had a fairly bad start there. I think Penta was up 5-1 before Getright got into his game. Forrest had some nice shots as well. But yeah, again, Nuke is a map where NiP is strong on, and I understand why VP decided to eliminate that. Maybe before eliminating a map like Inferno. NiP played Inferno versus Fnatic in the grand final of ESL 1, and yeah, they were alright as CT, but not so much as T.
And they changed things up a lot too, which is something that I'm very curious to see, even beyond what we saw at ESL. The integration of Alu in that roster. They said that they were going to change positioning. We saw it on Nuke yesterday. I didn't really like the way they played it with Get Right outside as opposed to Alu holding it with the op.
Yep.
And then he was sort of back playing passively.
Forrest actually playing the op.
Well, Forrest was rotating from Catwalk and Heaven and Lockers. He was kind of playing a hybrid. He was supporting, but Get Right was the primary guy that was outside behind CT Red, which I found really interesting because he's normally in on the floor playing through the vents and up and down on rotations. So it was a whole different setup from what I'd normally seen from them, and I didn't really think it had any benefits to it.
Right, but speaking about Alu's op on Inferno, I did just mention that they had a strong CT side versus Fnatic just a few days ago, and that was kind of like based on the fact that he's really hits these shots, because sooner or later the T obviously has to attack, and he's very good at just delaying the attack, making sure that they are wasting the smoke grenades, so when they do attack, the smokes are not covering all the areas, and he's going to hit these shots. And also, compared him to a player like Michael Lille, he doesn't necessarily take these extremely high risks and go and die early on, which happens to a lot of snipers, sometimes Alu as well, but less so with Alu in the team. And NiP is, kind of forcing the opponent to attack very late, and having Get Right left, having Forrest left in a late round, it's paradise for them.
So there's our odds on the screen based on what we've got so far this evening, and no surprise that NiP leads that based on yesterday's performances, online matchup.
The fact they're also the finalists at ESL 1, like, they already played one of the majors and managed to take second position. That instantly is going to give you a lot more cred with VP being knocked out in the semifinals. And also on CSGO Lounge, 73% going the way of NiP. I think there's a couple of value bets and loyalty bets coming in for VP on that one.
There was actually a lot of people saying that those odds were great odds. I'm not a bettor. I don't play the math game, but I mean,
well, you're not allowed to.
Well, okay. Regardless. I mean, those are pretty good odds to go against VP if someone wanted to throw in. But I have to say, I in this situation,
because statistically, I would say NiP has a kind of 60-40 advantage. But again, we're talking now without knowing how Alu is going to amend and change this matchup, because this might very well be, a year where NiP will, overcome Virtus.pro in pretty much every single game.
Yeah, and I actually think that they do have the advantage in this matchup just based on what we've seen over the last few weeks, and specifically yesterday. If VP can't come out with a hard start early on and we get a repeat performance, then there's really, I don't see this going even 3 maps, so. But we'll start things off on Mirage. The players are just getting ready in the server. Of course, knife for sides. That will dictate exactly where we start off.
Before we actually start, I kind of want to get both of your opinions on this. What's going to happen with Virtus.pro? What should be their focus on this one? Because I've seen a lot of preps to go in towards the A side, where they do their coordinated smoke and then the push in. Should mid be more of the focus up against a team like Ninjas in Pajamas? Should they look towards the B side also a little bit more?
So I can start off, I guess. I think they need to more or less waste their smoke grenades early on towards middle when they're trying to attack there. Traditionally speaking, Virtus.pro is a team that takes a lot of risk. They like to play, on high stakes, successfully sometimes, not so successful other times. But now when you're playing Alu, who hits the most of the shots, as we addressed earlier, they kind of need to gain terrain by, utilizing the grenades in an early stage. But then again, we talked about the Polish kind of swarm. When they get into the connector, combined with the great timing Taz and Neo has, they understand like when to kind of go in and counter frag If they reach that far, NiP are in trouble.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to mid control for VP in that regard. Same as we saw from them on Cash. They're going to try and win that over. In fact, we go back to the pistol round against Envy. Taz went in through A main. The only reason they didn't win that pistol was because the rest of them got held out on the elbow at mid by Smiths. And I think that they're going to look for a lot of those
splits. That was
splits.
that opening nade that came from
that's
him.
right. Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of those split plays from them. And again, Karan said it, the nade utilization on allowing them to get further and take that map control is really going to be important.
Yeah, speak about CT, because obviously we're still to see the knife round. Correct me if I'm wrong. When VP is CT, I think they, on the other hand, they need to save their grenades as long as possible, because NiP, similar to Dust2, they like to take it fairly cautious, taking over the angles, precision flashbangs, and slowly but surely getting closer to the bomb spot and execute.
So would you, in that case, saving smoke grenades, for example, would you double smoke off on A ramp, or would you put a second, one on A ramp and one toward Palace? I mean, you can hold Palace just with the angle if you want.
Yeah, I think it depends where Pasha decides to roam, and potentially they can also get a double AWP up, which allows them to save the smoke grenades for a retake, let's say, because it can be, as everyone knows, it can be extremely successful when the bomb is planted. Put a smoke on the bomb and starting to defuse with a kit. Quite often you get the defuse at that point, but if the snipers hit a shot, they're not going to even enter the bomb spots.
Well, before we actually get into the game, I want to remind everyone, as it seems the players are using their free time to open up a whole bunch of containers. But if you also want to be in the running to win some cool drops, I don't know what we actually have to give away today, but of course you can do it in the future. Be subscribed to this Twitch channel, so all you got to do is subscribe to the PGL channel. $2.50 from every subscription will go to the prize pool, so money directly into the pockets of the players that you are supporting and making this whole tournament that much better. And of course, it's already going to be fantastic with the finals held at DreamHack Bucharest. But it's time to get into it. Knife round going to begin, and we'll see who gets to take the CT side first.
And actually, speaking of knife round, that's what we're giving away tonight, was the gut knife blue steel. So there's our giveaway for this evening. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the gut knife. I think of all the knives that are in this game, that one would absolutely hurt the most to get stabbed by.
Well, the name sounds like it.
Yeah, that
I guess before I tune out, should we throw out some score predictions?
Yeah,
I'm
sure,
saying this.
Go ahead. We're only a knife round, so we're fine.
Yeah, I would say this. The team that starts CT will win this 16-10.
So you're going to be a little bit ambiguous.
I
well,
am.
The knife round's already started.
If you allow me to.
Sure. I'm going to say I agree with that scoreline. I'm going to go with, I'm going to say Virtus.pro is going to take this map.
I'm going to agree with the scoreline, but I'm going to say NiP is going to take the map.
All right, so we're all on the same score, and we're split pretty
I'm
much down
safe.
the middle. Yeah, you're safe.
Anyway, off you go, guys. Take care. Good luck.
That's going to be the cheapest way to predict ever. But all right, so the players getting ready up. The knife round, it was won, and it looks like it was... who did win that? I wasn't even watching. We're too busy with our predictions. I believe it was Virtus.pro. Yeah, did anyone else see that knife round victory?
I was actually laughing about... I was kind of waiting for Card to jump back in.
Someone say in my ear who the hell won that one. All right, we're starting. So whoever won it, I'm assuming it's Virtus.pro because they're over on the CT side. So, we have it our ears. Virtus.pro won. So,
chat amongst yourselves. We'll get there eventually.
At this point, it's literally you two versus me because now you both agreed that Virtus.pro are going to win.
Essentially, yeah, that's what it comes down to. So, and I mean, they need that start. We talked about it. If they come out like they did yesterday, this is over in 2.
Yep.
We go on to the other maps. We've got Cash. Things could be interesting if Virtus.pro come alive. So we'll start it off with the pistol. Snacks is going to go straight for dualies, and they're going to go for 2 smokes, but it's actually looking like it's going to be heading toward B for NiP, although there's only 3 of them there.
Yeah, they're actually going down. So they're going to head through the underpass and come back up through mid. So it's more of a time push to come in through the mid connector. But Virtus.pro are perfectly set up for this. They've got 2 players in mid connector, 1 up on Cat. So there could be a horrible crossfire for Ninjas in Pajamas as they breach up now. And there's your flash. Going to blind up. Taz able to hide in the corner. And this is that real big crossfire. They've already picked up 2 of them. Backing up even further. The push did come in from the A-side players as well. But Ninjas in Pajamas can't find a single frag. The last one left, sitting just outside the palace. And he is going to be dropped down now by Bialy. Flawless first round from Virtus.pro. And Ninjas in Pajamas, they just guessed the wrong alley to walk up.
Great hold on that connector. That 2-player crossfire and connector, like you said, that shut everything down. And then I think it was Bialy that caught off the last player jumping across from Tetris. That mean they couldn't even get a flank to regain the bomb, and it was all over from that point. So really good hold from Virtus.pro. That's the start we talked about. Snacks this time is going to get more clever and go unorthodox with the shotgun. Use that up close at B. Again, they're sitting up early in those tunnels. Exist has dropped down to the underpass, but the rest of them are going through. Neo's going to be the first to arrive on the rotation.
Now, it looks like they're actually trying to make a little bit of sound in mid to get to come back. But there's no one making any noise over on A. Hence, Virtus.pro have so many players pushed up through mid, and they got a little bit of vision. So Neo brings down the one on top mid. Freiburg coming in with this Tech 9, hoping to get one kind of kill, but with Neo and Snacks holding the line, they've only managed to find one in the hands of Get Right. And that leaves Exist as the final man standing here for NiP. Gets at least a little bit of a collateral, maybe actually going to pick up a couple, in fact. So it's a 1-on-2 situation, but the odds are still against him. And Virtus.pro lose a couple of the weapons, but they do still hold the round.
And they recovered one of the M4s. That was the important part. Neo was very aggressive out toward middle as we just take another peek at these shots by Exist. Great shot through the window there. But Neo was very aggressive to come out. He was trying to actually help out at the underpass player. Took down Alu in the process, but Taz was already in that connector, which means Neo could have actually left a little bit sooner and got back to B and help out Snacks, who ended up going down to Get Right. Doesn't matter in the end, they get the round, but like you said, they have to invest a little bit more. Taz is going to start this off, though. That's Exist down already.
And Pasha, the perfect time to throw the nade down low, taking out Freiburg. Alu as well. The bomb is dropped right underneath the window. And the last player from NiP has 6 live points and is now, in fact, dead. 3 rounds for Virtus.pro. Ninjas in Pajamas, all 3 rounds they have committed to the right flank, trying to push down on top of that B site, use the underpass heavily. And Virtus.pro, every single time, have met them in force. There's also that very early pickup. Like, it was Taz this time around, it was Pasha the previous round. They just can't control mid. Obviously, they're on eco, so it was not a surprise at all. And now
Pasha,
they've already got the AWP up for Pasha.
Yet to die. He's easily picked that up this round. So they'll have that against the 5 AKs that NiP have, and they're going to work toward A this time. There is one smoke to delay them at the top of the A ramp. The rest of them are already in and coming out Palace, and they're coming in with speed as Get Right's already going to take down Bialy, so they should get a bomb plant off of this. Alu's the one holding on to that bomb right now, and he hasn't made his way in, and that means Taz has some time to shut them down. Get Right, though, immediately back into him.
I would be very careful looking behind him right now, because that's when Neo's coming, but Exist feels it coming already. So they take out the flank, and the plant will go down. Pasha and Snacks, they're both over on the CT stairs. Pasha needs the early pick, but they're being smoked up. In fact, Pasha taking a couple of tags down below half of his HP. And they're not going to try and contest this. Move it back towards the kitchen and just save.
Oh, that AWP is far too valuable at this point.
Yep.
So already going to it. He'll look for a few more kills on the way out, but best case, they'll hold on to it. So good entry there. Get Right came in with the support of Forrest above him, took down the player in the backside of the site, actually took down Taz, who was the first rotator, and then the smokes went out and completely held off that retake. So good performance by NiP in that case, and that'll give them their first round and the first gun round at that. So looking good on T so far, but very early yet to tell.
Yeah. Ninjas in Pajamas have to try and hold the momentum. Alu's going to be buying up at AWP for this round. So they're going to have this pickup, and we get to see the battle between Pasha as well as Alu. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like it's going to be a mid-peak coming out from Alu. And the first shot, he comes out on top. So Alu, on top of Pasha, looks like Khan gets to be right about something else tonight. That's so difficult. They're just going for a second peek in window. That was Neo who was moving over to grab that AWP.
And they late smoked that because they wanted Alu to take that fight. Then they'll smoke it off and take the full control of mid. So not only do they get a man advantage, they get the map control out of it as well. That's really good performance.
Well, where's NiP now going to go with this? With a one-man up and a tag on Neo, they're going to back it up. Initially, they had the floater over on the B site. Sorry, on the A side. Now he's going to be joined by the rest of his team. And Alu, in fact, makes it even better for him, getting another pick at that window.
I'm wondering if that call came from Get Right, because he would have heard Bialy run from the backside of the CT stairs where he's pushed up that far into Palace. So he would realize there's only one left there. And Alu's going to do it again. There's 3. Why continue to peek this guy? It's not going well at all.
He's in a really good position for this one. Taking out one, but then it's just the pure numbers of NiP that can push up through the ramp side. And Alu's waiting for that mid-cross. Oh, he pulled out. He pulled off scope just a little bit too early, but he's still going to claim the kill. And that's, in fact, a 4-fer from Alu. Almost using the rotation from NiP, waiting for those players to move out, waiting for the picks, and just managed to snap out head after head.
Yeah, great start for him. Already back to pistols on VP's side. We got Deagle out for Taz. P250 on Pasha, but we'll see how they choose to use it. NiP is going to go right for that mid-control again. They've already thrown that nade in. That takes some damage into Pasha. Not a whole lot, but enough to force him back. And now they'll push up mid. Again, that late smoke window gives them full control.
I love this from Get Right, too. Oh, actually, a little bit off the timing. The nade into Pasha is going to bring him down by Forest. But Get Right's the man watching over towards the apartments area. Realized the players dropped down, and he's given the intel over to Forest. That's why the flash already came in. Or maybe he didn't. Forest is looking up the ladder, but he's got to look a little bit closer than that. As Snacks will drop on that short B, which means they know the B is fairly well open. Forrest has faked the ladder jump multiple times. He's got a CT right behind him as Alu keeps the pressure coming in. Only needs the Rec 9 to breach into B.
Neo's going to try and go for this flank, though. Try and get something out of this round. Just knock a few guns down. Forrest is low. He'd be the one ideal target. But he's just put the bomb down on B. Neo's got the first. That's Exist. So good start on this flank so far, and he's going to collect that AK and run away and hide. He has to at this point. So Taz will look for the exit kills. Neo's going to go for the save. But NiP is going to tie up the game, 3-3 already.
Yeah, that one AK can control up a choke point. Beat almost, I'm not going to say contested battle in mid because that'll be crazy up against Alu, but you could do some work over on those A stairs, or potentially over towards the B side as well.
Pasha's got 33. He could glass cannon out an op in the next round where it's going to be 4 straight losses. So Pasha could go straight to the window. Then they've got the AK. They'll buy out. Yeah, he's going to have 57. So yeah, they'll go right back to an op setup. So they'll use that AK with it.
Okay. We do have a pause as we've lost one of the players from NiP. Hopefully nothing too critical.
And it looks like it's Exist as well, so.
Okay. We have confidence words coming from the people in our ear saying he's on the way back. So nothing to be worried about. Yeah.
So not a bad start so far from NiP. They lost that pistol round. I thought that was actually going to make things a little bit easier for VP, especially on the CT side, but they've won all 3 gun rounds. Of course, one of those was an anti-eco, but it was pretty swift fashion. Executions on both sides so far looking fairly good.
What I liked about NiP's first round was that they completely caught Virtus.pro off guard. Normally, NiP just like to take their positions, using all those AWP. Obviously, he couldn't afford it in this round, but just playing it fairly chill. Instead, they just kind of like crawled out Palace, and when they did, I think Getra got the entry frag. They exploded from the choke point, and yeah, completely caught them off guard. And now they added up another few rounds here, so NiP is looking really strong.
Yeah, I thought that entry, that specific round, like I said, and I made mention of it during the round, is that they got that early kill, they got the entry, and then they secured the site very efficiently. Taz went down, they smoked it off, they knew no one else was in position. VP had no chance to go for it. They would have had to fight through smokes. I think they only had like 2 flashes left at that point. Everyone else had died with their nades out, and then it was all over.
All right. So as far as our next couple of rounds coming up, obviously VP's got a full buy round. We're leveling back up again with NiP versus VP. Who should be looking for the advantage? Again, does Pasha keep trying to peek that mid window and battling up against Alu, or should he try and mix this up a little bit more?
I think he should, but he should mix it up. Maybe that was like
that
didn't make much sense, but he should not.
Between window and connector or something?
Yeah, he definitely needs to mix it up a bit, but he should, at the same time, he cannot give up that AWP duel, because then they let NiP too close to their front door, and then they are in trouble.
I just want to say, because we've gone back live, it's actually going to be Neo that has the op, because he had the first spawn, so he's going to be directly into the window early. So they wanted to try and, yeah, there it is. They'll switch it out to Pasha. So they wanted to try and catch NiP that time and get the early man advantage, but no one was there to peek.
Yeah, NiP's focusing more over towards the A side. So they've got 3 to come up through the stairwell. Bialy's already very aggressively up on that spot. So the second Ninjas in Pajamas try and rush this, they're not going to be looking for someone there. They're smoking, they're nading, and this is the push time. So we should head back over to Bialy. Here's the jump down, number 1, number 2, looking for the third as well. Around the corner, Alu's Tech 9 will take care of that one. And Forrest needs to make some space. Look over towards Tetris. He's looking the wrong direction. And now he's going to see him too late. Taz gets the kill over on Forrest, and the AWP from Alu's not going to be able to take that battle. Not a point-blank range, so it's up to Get Right to make another hole up through the connector. And Pasha is already looking over there. You notice too, he's the man now with the AWP in their hands. They switched it up after they realized.
Oh, and Get Right lost that battle. I thought he might be able to find one from inside the ladder room, so Alu has absolutely no chance. If Get Right had gotten over there and realized B was open, at very least they could have gone for a bomb plant out of that, but Alu's still going to push forward. They've got enough money that they can.
If he looks behind himself right now towards the stairs, he can get a very quick pick and potentially plant. He has to look. There's your pick, and, well, it seems Pasha is just as quick. Taking out Alu, and the AWP is going to be on the ground. Oh, they can't get there in time to pick it up.
They didn't get it, so they were going to go, well, they're going to buy out actually an op this time. Neo's going to go for it, so they'll go double op regardless. But it would have been nice if they had been able to collect that one. It would have saved them a good amount of change. And in fact, we're going to see a double op on NiP's side, which is very interesting on the terrorist side.
Yeah, what angles are they searching for with this?
One in mid for sure. The second probably for an entry. It's going to be Forrest, who's actually going to B. I would have expected one toward A Palace to catch that rotator, but
I'll be Ali so
See if you
aggressive.
can find snacks with it.
With these nades as well, they're going to bring down Arlus. That AWP is just sitting in mid. Forest missing his shot on snacks. So both these AWPs, it's a very expensive round for NiP.
That was great early mid presence from VP. Doubling out one from window. Nice shot exists, at least collects one. Pasha responds, but great awareness, I guess you could say, to have both those angles covered off, and they just completely caught NiP. Crossing over into those box positions, and then 2 men down, nothing more they could do. Exist tried to recover that bomb and still work with Forrest, but like you said, he missed that shot at B. There was nothing else they could do. Yeah,
without getting those side pickoffs and trying to split Virtus.pro's defense up, Ninjas in Pajamas can't really make that hole to breach through with the bomb site, with the bomb. But they're going to move very quickly this time around, and a very, very quick move. The Molotovs are down, but they're going to run through it. In fact, just triggering off the smoke. Nades, where is this? The AWP from Neo. He picks up one. Get right jumping through the window, or at least attempting to do so. And the CTs are holding pretty tight here. There's only Freiburg left after they've entered the site. And in a 1-on-3 situation, needs these earlier pickups, looks for one, and Taz will shut him down. So VP surviving up against the semi-buy round of NiP.
And now they have to save, so good response from VP. Lose the first 3 guns. They'll get them back. Good read to get over to B that time.
It's not a full eco from Ninjas in Pajamas, though. Like, so I'm still seeing armor, a couple flashes, smokes.
Well, yeah, okay, so it's you're going to go CZ75s. We've got 1 Tech 9 and armor on Get Right, but essentially they're forcing what they can.
Yeah.
They're setting up for an A as well, so they're going to try and rush in with that strength. Get Right's going to be your guy to sell over onto the B site. He's inside the apartment, actually just dropping down into underpass right now.
Yeah, they got the call. Already Neo checking it out, checking underpass, but he needs to get himself over towards the A site. So where the pushes come in, Parch has managed to grab one. Tetris will always be shut down. But Ninjas in Pajamas, they just cannot get themselves in on that site freely. And the flanker will also be dropped. Nice little leftover nade into Tetris by Neo. And mops up the connector boy. So 7-3, sorry.
Smokes were good, but no firepower to work with it. Taz was up close, got the first, got all the information. They were rushing in. He dropped in the end, but response kill came out. So now they'll go back into rifles. Alu's going to go straight back to this op.
He really needs to win that battle in mid. And the fact that Pasha is already there means he's not going to go for the battle, in fact.
And look at this. They're holding the off angle at middle because they know they had late spawns, and they may catch out Taz, who's pushing up. Pasha's already taken some damage through the underpass, so if they're not careful in middle right now, NiP might just sit back and catch them. They are finally going to push forward. It's Taz and Pasha that are there. Taz might get caught right now. Alu, no! Pasha's going to find the kill in response, so that opens things up. VP gets a kill I thought for sure was going to go the other way.
But with it going this way now, Ninjas in Pajamas lose the AWP. They have one guy floating around there, but he doesn't want to get right. Being forced out of the palace, and Neo will shut him down. Nice little Molotov for the clearance. Ninjas in Pajamas still do have numbers in that underpass, but they're being watched from above on both sides. So Exist already battling out. Neo's going to get on top of that one. Taz, he's moved up into the ladder room. And with the smokes on all sides, he's actually quite free to move wherever the hell he wants to. Nice little nade. Tagging over on Taz. Doesn't get the kill. A little bit of shots. Freiburg definitely knows he's got company. And then the one on short. Snacks only semi flash then, so we still saw Freiburg walking around the corner. And it's just up to Exist and Forest.
Exist is in connector. Forest is still stuck in middle, though. In the corner. Taz is still watching out in that direction, so... Well, Taz is actually going to change his angle. This will be even more beneficial if he gets there before Forest moves. But that gives Exist a bit of a chance to try and work inside jungle. He may actually spot... No, time's going to expire regardless, but he may actually have spotted Taz if Taz had backed up even one step. They would have got an exit kill, but that's going to go Virtus.pro again, so they're on a streak right now of 5. That gives the money bonus right back to NiP. But look how broke they are even still. They'll force out 3 AKs, a Tech 9 and head armor for Alu. A few nades to work with, but Get Right's also going to be forced to just use a pistol.
Well, let's see how they work with what they've got. So they're flashing down into underpass, feeling there's already going to be someone there. Exist and Alu looking for the opening. And Pasha's going to shut down that opening pretty hard. Gets the AWP. He did mix it up, not going to the window, coming down to the connector. But with the double orbs, they've got such great coverage. So it allows Neo in that position, we're watching him there, to watch out from window and cover the top of mid. The smoke's going to come the way of B-side. So Ninjas in Pajamas, here comes the push. One flash from Snacks might be slowing down a couple of the VP players, but they're at least down onto the side until Snacks takes out one. Looking for the second, but he's still smoked up on multiple sides, but he's using the angles perfectly.
Pasha's coming on the big flank too.
I don't think it matters. Snacks already taken out 3 players. Okay, maybe it will matter. Forrest is the last man left alive, being put with the impossible task. He knows Pasha is up there, but Neo's going to drop him. 9-3. NiP, they just cannot. They can't shove their way into a site like this. They always keep getting gunned down by VP. And Snacks with a big amount of kills, it worked beautifully.
Running that double op like they do on VP's side, Neo actually gets drawn a lot closer to the A site, so there's a bit of a gap on the rotation from Catwalk that if NiP can exploit, they'll get into the site and secure it a little more post-plant situation. But Pasha's big rotation where he goes through the underpass, VP uses that so many times. Pasha's got that famous sneaky play where he's done it more recently, and I mean, if NiP can find a way to just secure that and be aware of it, they'll be able to hold it out. But right now it's going to be an A take. They've got lots of smoke and nades out, but watch Taz. He's up close. He's already dropped the bomb. There's another one for him as he comes around the corner, but Alu eventually shuts him down. Forrest will get one with the Tech 9, but there's Pasha arriving from the jungle.
That was when that Molotov stopped NiP from running deeper into the A site. They had nothing more to do, and these boys trying to get the picks from up on top of Palace to able to do much. Like Alu got a couple there, but eventually NiP just lose the numbers, and VP, they rotated very quickly once they realized that the move was coming towards A site. So now they go 10-3. Looking very solid here as Virtus.pro in the first half. And only 2 more rounds to go. And we're in an eco. Well, no, we're not actually. I'll take it all back.
They've only got the 1 AK.
Yeah. But I'm still seeing armor, head armor on Freiburg as well as Exist, but that's a bit of a force buy. Pasha. Again. Goodbye, Alu. There's a second one down there, and Pasha, he did this before as well. He waits just a fraction of a second, then tosses out the nade and uses Taz, who's over in the connector, to get the follow-up damage. And Ninjas in Pajamas, they're literally trapped in a fiery death. And Taz finishes the job. 11-3.
Really easy round. Yeah, they're holding middle extremely well. Taz is playing off in that connector position so brilliantly, and every time that they come A, he's very quick to rotate out and get aggressive toward the choke points at A as well, and it's completely catching out NiP.
3 ops.
No, they left one in spawn.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they saved one. That was a... They picked one... Actually, no, they wouldn't have in that round, so yeah, that was a misbuy. Doesn't matter, it's the last round of the half, so they'll throw it out as if they wanted to use it, but it's on the ground in spawn.
Right now, Ninjas in Pajamas would need a miracle to even reach the CT spawn to grab that thing, and if they get that far in, they probably already won the round. But they've got double ops, so it doesn't really matter anyway. So, last round, who gets the opening? Neo, very aggressive, up and all the way up to the stove. He's going to get flashed up a little bit, but he can't see anything. Apart from more smoke flying out of smoke. And he's got the nice little corner. Sees, doesn't really get the proper tag though. Exist tags him more, in fact. And everyone just backs up.
Forrest, though, is trying to come in. They've got 2 coming around from the backside. On B, Neo is just up close. He fell back just in time, though. Because Forrest would have had line of sight on him.
They're running out of time to get these picks.
40 seconds. Exist will grab the bomb. They're going to go underpass with it, so it looks like they actually want to commit to A, but...
That's where VP is. They got 4 players.
4 players there in A. They're going to walk directly into this. B was the better choice. Freiburg and Exist will be your entries onto that connector as Getright's trying to take down one, but Taz already found him. So it's getting worse and worse for NiP's chances. They are going to still come in. Exist does get one over the top of the box, but now it's Pasha on the reverse angle. Easy kills from Palace. There's 2. As Forrest gets him in return, but they know exactly where he is, and he's all that's left. An easy kill for Snacks. And what a great comeback after losing those first 3 gun rounds. VP caught on to everything NiP was doing and completely obliterated them.
Man, VP, this is... obviously, it's amazing what happens once you remove your sub on this map for these guys. The coordination was perfect. I thought after the initial pick on Pasha that Alu got, that the mid would just start going the way of NiP every single time. But they worked hard. They did what you actually asked, Khan, was to mix it up, move it into the connector, and they shut down underpass multiple times.
Right, and eventually they got the double AWP up as well, and that was kind of dire news for NiP, who... yeah, consistently struggle to, you know, keep the momentum up. Because we mentioned they lost the pistol round, lost 3 rounds, but then they got the 3 rounds they needed to get some kind of stability in terms of the financial aspect. But then Pasha hit his shot in middle. They kept on being aggressive. I think Taz had a key round where he was like up lurking in the middle, and eventually Pasha just took the kill. Let's try to hunt Taz down. And something I didn't see from NiP, which I think they should have done, they should have kept going with A split. So you saw actually VP anticipating this the very last round. They placed 4 CTs in A. Neo left by himself in B, sorry. But anyway, we have a pistol round coming in here, but NiP, they need to really start playing, and that's now.
Yeah, if they don't win this pistol round, they're in a horrible eco state up against Virtus.pro, and will probably even be staring down the barrel of a 14-3 round face-up. And that's a lot of potential match points for Virtus.pro if they can just get the 1 extra round. But we're underway, and it appears that Virtus.pro, they at least have the bomb fairly far up on B.
They've only got 2 flashes, and they're already committing to B because you'll need smokes to get into A. And then 3 sets of armor, but they're going to start things off poorly with Forrest already catching 1 on Catwalk. That's Pasha down, but now they'll fly out of the apartments. Little team damage fired away, but makes up for it. Great headshot into Freiburg. As Snacks gets the even up kill and now exists to drop. They just need to get this bomb down, and it looks like they'll take this round. So this match is getting harder and harder for NiP.
Yeah, this is almost looking impossible for NiP. With their last player, he's even going to try and Molotov him, Snacks. And the early on, trying to force Alu back out to him, but that also means that Neo's got the angle from down near short. And 13-3. This is the danger zone. NiP on CT side with only 1,500. That's not a lot to work with. In fact, there's practically nothing to work with. They have to give up this round. The only thing they can hope for is nice little choke points. Maybe they can salvage some of these guns that VP is buying into.
Right, yeah, and that would be the bigger win and more plausible for me is if that they can get these kills and at least secure some weapons to hold on to into round 3.
There's 2 AKs if they can get him. Neo's just using his pistol, however. They're using him as bait on the front line, because he's the only one here. The rest of Virtus.pro are actually over on the B side, pushing in through the apartments, and it seems like Ninjas in Pajamas have heard them. They've rotated 2 players over, but what can they really do? Freiburg taking out 1, taking out 2, looking for the third. Taz will snap him back finally. But it is buying time for the rest of Ninjas in Pajamas to rotate themselves over. They've still got one man over on short. Get Right doing the work. Down to Taz. He's got the AK, taking out the second. No, he cannot do it. This is a huge round. They save both the AKs. They take everything away from Virtus.pro, and a lot of it started because of this moment.
Yeah, Freiburg was absolutely massive. It's normally Forrest that we give credit to with the pistols, but Freiburg that time held beautifully with that 5-7. And like you said, that allowed the rotations to come in. They dropped 2 men already. The bomb actually went down on the way in. That slowed things up a little bit more. So NiP get more than just the exit weapons that I was saying was the plausible victory for them.
Now they get punished in the money. They got 1 AK with a couple of different pistols, but with the 2 M4s, the FAMAS, and then the other 2 AKs for NiP.
Watch out, though. Forrest in middle was on Cat. He's the only one there. Snacks coming underpass. Get Right has to be here quickly to help him out. Finally, Alu gets to window. That's Pasha down, and that's also bomb deep on Catwalk, so they should be able to secure that.
Bialy's going for the deagle pick from the stairs. He went down to 11 life points, so he's only have 1 more chance of that. In fact, yeah, he'll blow it too. Bialy's right behind him, so maybe he goes for the second shot, and he will. He gets the shot over on Exist, but he's the last man left alive. Sorry, it's Bialy, sorry, last man left alive with 11 life points. And now he's down as well. So Ninjas in Pajamas, they do lose 2 players. But right now, winning rounds is the important thing. They were so far behind, they need to have some kind of advantage kicking in for them. And we're into another eco from Virtus.pro.
Up against now for Alu, yep.
Yeah, this almost scratches VP's ability to go mid unless they've got very good smokes.
Well, they've got none at all. They didn't even invest into a single grenade, so they won't go for that. Snacks is already running faster than I've ever seen anyone run. A little bit of bunny hopping, in fact, down into the underpass, and he's actually going to get Alu off for it. That's your op down, so if he can get that and secure it, there's a chance. Unfortunately, Forrest has already caught down Neil at the corner. Look at the rest of the damage. Look at these jump shots. Snacks just still trying to do more damage, but Get Right has enough of him. The Jack in the Box is out of batteries, and he'll just sit down into his own death. There's 3 players left. Get Right makes it 1 now for VP.
Bialy again with this deagle pick. Taz is the only man left alive. He'd love to try and find one of these weapons, but the bomb is in the complete open. And Ninjas in Pajamas, they don't really have the greatest crossfire here. Get Right moving back in through the window and the other over on short. They flash so Get Right can have a bit of a peek, and they drop him. Also, get down, pick up that AWP. And they've got it. So they save the AWP, they hold onto one of the AKs, and Virtus.pro still unable to find the last 2 rounds to at least give them 15. Last 3 rounds for the victory. We're actually running a double AWP now. Alu as well as Forest having them. But Pasha, I kind of want to see if he can get this early pick. Because he's also managed to pick up one of the AWPs. But they're not contesting in mid. Forest already opens up the account over in the apartments.
He knows there's more there as well.
But they're not going to push up any further. After losing Neo like that, they just don't have the numbers to try and breach down against an AWP.
So it's back to basics now, but watch out. Freiberg's actually pushed up quite far inside the apartments. He's swapped with Forrest, who's gone back over toward middle to use that AWP in another position, which I do very much like. Because if they come B at this point with a man down, they're going to come with force, so having the rifle in that position is going to be far more beneficial, but they're not heading that direction at all. It's back toward A. Exist is pushed up underneath the balcony. He'll be aggressive and hopefully catch them off, because Alu's back toward the window. Snacks is doing battle and keeping Get Right busy at connector, which means, okay, well, he's gotten away. I was going to say it was going to leave Exist alone at A, but they're coming over now. Get Right's going to be the first there. Exist is already down, though, so if they can smoke off these retake spots and get the bomb down, there's a chance here for Virtus.pro. Snacks is still lingering behind and lurking, but Alu's got one. Make it 2 as he gets the AWP up above and make it a 3rd. Great play from him. Forget everything I said, because VP's got no chance now.
Well, unless Snacks can pull something out of his ass, it's not really going to go that better for him. Forrest is watching with the AWP, so he's just looking to see Snacks walk up the stairs. At the same time he did, he backed up, but Get Right finishes the job. 13-7. Now up on the board as Ninjas in Pajamas are starting to pull it back, and well, we're getting close to your boys' predictions at least. But if Virtus.pro is still going to win this, they need to start winning a round somewhere, because they're not getting any of the money.
Great round from Alu.
Yeah.
Especially dropping that bomb down on the 3rd player. That pretty much put things well and truly out of reach. Snacks did have them divided, but Get Right was fully aware. They knew exactly where he was, so.
Is the VPA move. They're gonna time their smokes perfectly and then try and breach in. Ninjas in Pajamas, they do still have one over at the mid connector stairs, one back in jungle and one over on the A stairs. And now the smokes are coming in. Already the movement coming in from the kitchen player. They're bringing the numbers back over towards the A site. But that was only one smoke that took the vision out from Alu. It wasn't the full set coming from VP. Now is the full set coming from Virtus.pro. They run out. How much damage can they do? And
they've done the close smokes. They've gone for what we saw Keed do at MLG against Cloud9, what Na'Vi was the first to do. They'll close off the site, but NiP doesn't care. They're going to catch them before they can get inside the wall of smoke. They've already got everybody down. Taz the only one left, and he gets annihilated as well. Great retake from NiP. I thought there was a chance that using those smokes they could at least get the bomb down. Not to be.
Ninjas in Pajamas had the perfect crossfire, and they couldn't find the early pickups when they came in close on the smoke spots. Because Ninjas in Pajamas didn't reveal their position by randomly spraying. They waited until it was the Virtus.pro boys who were revealed. And VP, how do we play now? You do have an AWP up, Pasha. Is he the man coming up for the mid pick?
He's not even there. No, he's back over toward B. He's looking for Freiberg to push up right now aggressively inside the apartments, but he's not doing it.
So not taking the mid battle. The bomb is dropped as 3 more players from the Virtus.pro lineup are pulling back over towards Palace side. It exists this time holding a little bit further up. He got taken out before when he tried to hold from inside of the dark in shadow. Let's try and mix up the positions. Forest, there we go. There goes one of your B floaters. There's still one more floater sitting over there. In fact, a VP, again, they're switching back over. They're running out of time. Down to 47 seconds, and you don't have any kind of initial intel about where anyone is, apart from knowing the fact that Forrest was sitting on top of the truck with the AWP. And he's, in fact, backed himself up to the broken wall. I love to how they just leave the AWP behind. They need the AKs. Forrest and Freiberg combining up together. And now the bomb is pretty much in the open, and Virtus.pro know they can't battle this one, except for the fact that Neo ran into Get Right, who was trying to flank him out. And they pick up the AWP, and they got 16 seconds. There's nothing more they can do apart from hold on to the weapons.
Neo's still getting aggressive. I thought after they got get right down from that flank. They'd take that opportunity as an exit point. They're not going to do it. Now Neo's really hurting. Snax is down as well. Exist tries to come up, easily taken down.
Yeah, when Neo missed that shot, it was kind of all over for him then.
They're still going to be able to buy no problem. They've got a full money bonus. But they don't have enough to go for an op. It would have been nice to save that and try and get it over toward Pasha because he's going to be able to just buy an AK and no head armor, no nades whatsoever. He's down to only $50 after that.
He's going to rely on his teammates' smokes to get him in close. With these AKs, you're not going to try and battle an AK up against the AWP on this map.
So they'll spread out again. Taz and Bialy are over toward A. That's where the bomb is in Taz's hands, but they've already got choke point smokes out from NiP to delay that push. The one at A ramp now has dissolved. Snax is in the underpass, so they want to try and split onto this A site right now. Alu's already rotated over to jungle. That'll allow them to get up middle a little bit further, but Get Right is still inside that connector. So once they go for this push, they're going to have company at A, and they're going to come in from A ramp first. Get Right finds the first, drops down to Taz in the end. But here's a shot. Nice play from Alu. There's connector already held off, but he's got to be so careful with that up close to hold both angles. And Forrest and Exist need to hurry up and get up those back stairs to help him out. Meanwhile, Freiburg at middle, though, will catch out on Pasha. But the smokes are still off, holding NiP out the backside of the site, but it doesn't matter. The rest are done. It all came from jungle at that point. And Exist and Forrest just had to sit back and let the teammates do the work.
Yeah. Ninjas in Pajamas didn't manage to save that second AWP, but I don't think they're really too concerned about that right now. As they're just going to buy up another one. In fact, Freiburg was the one who held it for a moment. But it's into the hands of Alu, as well as Forrest again. It's been great mid-control coming out from Alu. Forrest, after a little bit of a shaky start over on that B side, he's just been perfect. I haven't seen a way for Virtus.pro to really breach in again. In fact, as Freiburg is the one playing a little bit closer up this time around, allowing Forrest to play from the kitchen side. With another eco coming from VP. And they got a little bit of armor in one of the Tech 9s. But it's still going to be a very, very tall ask. And in fact, they've already lost two. Get Right, taking out a third. Knew they're coming up through mid. Bialy, again with his Deagle. He will manage to pick up one player now, which is Get Right, and take his M4 away from him. But how long he can hold that is a completely different question. And the answer is answered. 3 seconds. Question is answered.
Taz is still pushed up in the backside of that jungle, though. They haven't spotted him just yet. So now they will to catch out. Yeah, there it is. Catch out one on Exist. Try and get this gun, maybe. At this point, you've got a full money bonus, and you're down so many rounds. He's got 38 seconds. If you can just grab this bomb, you might try and go for it, but Forrest doesn't want to let him.
He also felt a little bit crippled because he picked up the one M4 that was down there with only one bullet in the chamber. So he had nothing to shoot with the second he grabbed it.
They'll get an op back out on Virtus.pro's side this time, though. Snax is going to be the one holding on to it. He'll take it out of spawn as well because he's the closest toward mid, so he wants to get this pick on Alu right away. The question is, who's going to get the better shot? Alu's already there. Down Pasha goes, but
no!
Team kill! Snax took out Neo. That was actually lined up. If Neo hadn't have been there, Alu is down because the bullet actually took Alu down to 29, so Neo not only gave away his own life, but saved Alu in doing so.
Oops.
Thank you very much, says Alu.
Yeah.
So 2 players left for Virtus.pro when it should have been an even trade.
That's crippling. That's absolutely crippling. So Ninjas in Pajamas only have to hold up against 2. Taz up in the palace. Well, Bialy looking to come from below. They got one nade, one Molotov. And Get Right has already managed to take out one of them. So it's all up to Bialy. He knows at least Get Right's in Tetris. He's going to try and force him out with that Molotov. Successful at doing so. But then there's more support to come in from Exist. So NiP losing 1 player and only having to kill 4 to get this. So we watch that one again. Oh, yeah.
And you can see the bullet.
Angles.
It actually hit Alu. Alu was lagged up by that, so that would have completely changed the complexion of the round. It would have made it back to a 4-on-4 situation at that point. It would have opened up mid. Instead, it completely destroyed Virtus.pro, not only on the fact that they went a man down.
You can't blame Snax for that, though.
He
never would have seen it.
No,
he never would have seen it.
But, I mean, it's just one of those... The worst case scenario out of what happened right there was they lost a player, they didn't get a kill, and they lost all of mid in the process, so...
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Alu's trying to peek through that smoke. If he had a guess shot right then, he potentially could have got the earlier pick. But there's smokes heavily coming in from Virtus.pro. And the breach, they've started. One player already over on top of the A site. The rest of them coming up through the stairs as Tabs is in close. Takes out Get Right, looking for... well, he thought his Alu was actually Exist, who's on the CT stairs. Alu is moving back over. Exist through the bottom of the smoke. Now to find the opening. And Alu now evening up the odds onto a 3-on-3 situation. He knows one's at the back of the boxes. Right on the site. He needs his teammates to get the cross from the stairs. The Snacks taking out Freiburg. He's still got Forest on the high side, but Alu, that's Forest just jumping in with pistol first into the AWP. Can't finish the job. Alu attempting to go for the defuse. But he's up against 2 Ts at the moment. Manages to bring down 1. He still knows where the last one is, but he's out of time. Checking every corner but the one Snacks was hiding in. Snacks won't save the weapon, but Virtus.pro, they get the 14th round.
And that's actually key to mention, that they don't save a single weapon because they haven't won a round in so long that they've just reset their money bonus. They'll barely be able to buy out into AKs this round. They only need 2 more rounds at this point, but look how close NiP is. They're at 12, and they've got all kinds of economy. In fact, enough that Exist has now gone for an auto sniper.
I'm interested to see how much damage you can do with this thing.
They've changed up their positioning again a lot on this map as well, because previously it was Get Right who was on Cat for the quick rotation and Forest over toward the connector. So NiP's been definitely playing around with things now that Alu's in this roster, and so far this match it's looked quite good in terms of how they've been playing it and how they've been holding off that mid presence. They've got to watch out over toward B right now, or do they? No, pardon me, on the overlay I get confused. They're going for that underpass push.
Yeah, there they are, but Ninjas in Pajamas can hear him coming. Forest has already brought down 1. Alu as well, but it's Neo that gets the first blood in for Virtus.pro. That'll find a second one, but they're getting shut down. With Get Right going to work. The auto sniper is lost. Spray does not win you the round. Neo is the last man surviving. Freiburg and NiP, the 2 to hold him against. He at least knows that whatever side he'll go to, it'll still be a one-on-one situation. But Freiburg is already up on shot. Is he going to back up now? As Neo was checking over, he would have had a moment where he could have shot Neo in the back.
Well, he's got the defense split up, obviously, but Get Right's pushing forward, trying to get information. Now he's going to fall back to A site. Yeah, Freiburg definitely would have heard that, or did he? He's still sitting in.
He turned. He was looking inside the kitchen towards the B bomb site, and then he heard it and turned himself around. And Get Right's just holding from up inside the palace. So when he hears the plant go down, he can just do a slight little peek. So the plan is at least there, so VP have some money from that. But yeah, Neo is being stalked across this map. And it buys him time to now save both the sniper, the AWP, as well as the auto sniper.
So good hold. Neo did try to use that smoke to his advantage. Tried to divide out the defense, but not to be. So now NiP's on 13. Again, Virtus.pro just got reset. They'll go back to pistols on this one.
Yep. So Ninjas in Pajamas. They want a clean round this time around. Hold on to every single weapon you're going to purchase. Make sure you don't fall behind.
To the qualifier, we saw a similar storyline to this in reverse.
Really?
With Flipside. It was 12-3 for them actually on the T side, and then Flipside came back to tie that game up against Mouse Sports. Now we're seeing it in a more traditional fashion. Now we're seeing it with CT-sided, as Mirage typically is, and both teams have shown off some good fashion, but right now it's coming down to those 3 gun rounds that NiP got in the terrorist side. Virtus.pro's only got 2 so far in this half.
VP's about to try and breach mid with 2 flashes. That's all they've got at the moment. They got 1 moving in through underpass and 4 to come straight through the top of mid. So the underpass guy can't even make a lot of distractions. Oh, no, they're not even going to do it.
But Forrest has already fallen back toward B, so they've doubled up on the B entrance and gotten him off of the catwalk.
And Freiburg's up close.
Yeah, and this is because Alu's actually pushed out into connector to watch off on the underpass and the catwalk. So by using that just change in angle, it allows them to stack over toward B a little bit more. Now with those nades coming out, they're going to know it's there.
And Freiburg, 1, 2, 3. Forrest mops up the last one, and Snacks, who basically replaced one of his testicles for a grenade. Obviously, that one backfired. He's under 8 life points, and he'll be shut down by Get Right. So 14-14, everything levels up.
Well, Force out again on, well, they could actually go, Neo could actually get an op out right now.
Is he going to, though?
He's got the spawn to go toward mid as well, but they haven't been winning that battle at all, so no, he's going to go with the AK. So they'll look for a quick execution. They've got flashes, 1 smoke, 1 Molotov. That's all they can get, so they don't even have a strong execution for A right now. They'll put 2 players toward Palace. If they can at least come out and get those entries from there, that'll hold off jungle, just based strictly on firepower at that point, not even grenades. And allow the players at A short to come up. But yeah, Forrest has already pushed all the way through underpass and up into the compartments, and that's so much information. Look at what that does in the result. Alu and Freiburg already over at A.
Yeah, and they're going to hold this one so tightly. The Molotovs are coming out as well as the nades, but this time there's no one in Tetris. Get right. He's taking 3, taking 4 with the auto sniper. He just needs Taz, and that's going to be it. That is going to be the 15th round, and Ninjas in Pajamas. They're still 1 round away from victory, but with a flawless hold like that, and Virtus.pro buying up as well, the next round is going to require a miracle from the Polish.
Get right. Just
unload.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th over the box. Beautiful play. Nice ace from him. Auto sniper OP.
Well, the only other way you can come back if you're looking for a miracle, 4 Tech 9s and 1 Deagle for Bialy. But they've got flashes, they've got smokes, they've got Molotovs, they've got everything the Virtus.pro require to breach a site apart from just the awesome range weapons. Binosu and NiP, no auto sniper this time around. They just leave it with a basic AWP as well as having the 4 rifles. They realize they're playing up close and personal CS with VP this round.
Nice smoke came out all the way over from B apartments onto connector. That'll keep Get Right a little bit busy. Typically, you would try and get mid-presence or rush up Cat based on that if you had a window 1 to complement it, but they don't do it. They're actually going to try and sell a fake here.
This is all this Bialy,
they've got pistols. They have to do it. Freiburg's not going to be sold. Forrest is still in B, so they haven't gotten any rotations out of this.
The Molotov was perfect. It means they couldn't even like breach up to do any kind of damage or like nudge up. Freiburg going to get burned up a little bit, but he stands his ground. Actually, no, he will drop down to the truck. Get right, takes out Taz, who's trying to rotate in through the A site. But they're down to 2 players, Pasha as well as Bialy. They at least have the bomb again, but the jumping CTs, Forrest takes 1. Freiburg, actually, that's the 2nd team kill of the map, but doesn't matter. CTs still come out on top. Ninjas in Pajamas 16-14, so a lot closer than all of us said it was going to be.
We were both wrong, because we both went with Virtus.pro on that one. So.
Yeah, and I think I thought that VP gonna win that like 16-5 eventually.
Yeah, because their second half of their CT looked excellent.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, eventually VP struggled the same way as NiP did when they were T. They ran out of ideas. The opponent built their economy up, started with double snipers, eventually an auto sniper as well that resulted in an ace. And when you do run out of ideas, I think it's the best thing you can actually do is to kind of go back to basics. So looking at Mirage, your T, I can do a B split, I can do A split, I can do like a B pop-up round. The A split in particular is something I think they should have tried more. Obviously, you can kill my argument here when Get Right does an ace, but then remember that the smoke wasn't perfectly placed in that very round that allowed him to just pretty much duck hunt like he was playing Nintendo 8-bit, right? So they should have done that. I think they showed at one point, even with the Tech 9s and the CZs, that they were able to penetrate A and even get the bomb plant, almost getting the bomb plant on an eco round. Should have done that, but yeah, NiP, once again, they, impress you how good they are in coming backs, like versus Fnatic at Inferno, they were down like a lot of rounds, don't remember the exact number, but here 12-3, and they just consistently struggle their way through 16-14. I'm impressed.
Yeah, and again, I talked about how NiP actually had changed things up a little bit again on this map. They've run a similar setup before with Forrest on Catwalk, but normally it's Get Right in that position. So that was a good change up that actually worked. Get Right obviously played, well, with the ace that he had at A, but played well in Connector as well. I think there was another round where he had a 3K in Connector when they were actually pushing through that choke point, which allowed the players at A to focus on the stairs. And, I mean, it's good to see that they're adapting and changing things up. And
I see how flexible they are in the positions, too. Because, like, Ali was playing from the back A on the A stairs with the AWP to start with. And then they even Get Right over to take care of that after he was doing so well inside the mid. So they're really mixing up their players. So even if you bring down one player, you're not certain exactly what position you've taken out right there.
Sure. I mean, it was ultimately a game that had pretty much everything. Team kills, aces, but no T rounds, basically. So that was a bit unfortunate, but that's how Mirage is sometimes. So we had to face that. and go into Inferno, which is the next map.
That team kill for me was worse than just the team kill, because it was also a shield for Alu to get away alive. Like, I've seen lots of team kills that are just straight up misplays. That was like a misplay with an insult with it. So
yeah, but I heard you guys saying like, oh, it's definitely not Snack's fault, but it's not. I think it was Neo doing.
It was Neo who
but it's not.
out.
I don't think it's his fault either. It's just the unlucky situation that you sometimes end up in, and lucky for Alu because he
got away alive.
Just used was it Snacks as a bodyguard.
Yeah,
so he
Neo,
just took like 60 HP instead of being eliminated and opening up mid for them at that point. But yeah, Virtus.pro, they probably felt too comfortable for too long. They went back to the A-splits, but that was too late. They missed the smoke grenades that they should have. So no excuses really. Back to practice. But before that, Inferno and eventually Cash as well, if it takes this into a third map.
But before we get there, we're going to have ourselves a short break. You can do in the meantime, subscribe to the channel and you can win yourself the awesome gut knife, the blue steel, which we're giving away tonight at the conclusion of our final, which is a long way away.
Yeah, we've got 4 best of 3s tonight. This is only the first.
We should only have 3 best of 3s on the mainstream, though, because the other ones already started being played.
That's right.
But yeah, there's a lot of CSGO being played tonight. It's a long night, so make sure you put the pot of coffee on, and we'll see you back here just after the break.